I was busy dreaming, building us a world, daydreaming up a good life that wouldn't hurt and wouldn't spoil. The sun never set there, the water clean and pure. In the beauty there was purpose, so certain, safe and sure. I could live this life forever, but from far, far away. I thought I heard you calling, you said I could not stay. And I woke up in a fever, my calculations were wrong. The pillars could not hold us, and the angels are gone. When hope makes you bleed, when life gets you down, there's all the love you need underground to make a way for the dark hearts to feel the love I found. There's all the love you need underground. We dream away. Of a sunset above a turquoise tide, the beauty of a just world and the convenience of a lie. I tore down that picture. There is no other perfect life, but in the dirt under my fingers, maybe something will survive. When hope makes you bleed, when life gets you down, there's all the love you need underground to make a way for the dark hearts to feel the love I found. There's all the love you need underground. We dream away.
Hello DevOps friends, welcome to Full Stack Live. I'm Jochen, the Monospace Mentor. Excuse me. Welcome to my stream. It's Tuesday, another week has started and it's time to do another live stream. Another round of live coding. I'm going to continue where I left off recently, building more Prometheus monitoring into our hosting infrastructure. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's nice to see progress on that front. Speaking of progress, I'm also pretty proud that my new running routine is taking and I'm getting better and faster at running my 5K, which I do 3 times a week. So yeah, I'm pretty happy and proud about that too. And I wonder, is there anything else? Nothing that would come to mind. I'm thinking about remodeling my office. Probably painting the walls in different colors or something like that. but that's not yet there, and we'll see how that goes. I'll probably do that during my break over Christmas, when I'm going to be alone in the house anyway, because my family is going to leave for Peru for a few weeks. Exegete, hello, welcome to the stack. Here's a coffee on you. Congratulations to the successful acquisition of a Trashcan Mac Pro, buddy. That looks amazing. It must be awesome to really to have that thing in hand, and especially to take it apart, because I imagine the way this thing is put together, I can only imagine. There's so much industrial design and engineering going into that Trashcan Mac Pro, where you can slide open slots for the RAM and other things. So that's really an amazing machine. Unfortunately, it's a bit form over function, but form is amazing, I have to say. You're right, Balthazar. It's a coffee to Exegete and to you too. And cheers. It's so dense, yeah, and so there's something that your Mac Pro and I sometimes have in common. Yeah, I'd say let's get going right away. Let's not waste time talking. Speaking of talking, of course, I would like to have to make this an interactive show, and not a 2 or 3 hour monologue if the OBS gods are fond of myself. So if there's anything that you'd like to share, pop into chat and let us know. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them. Oh, you're right. I apologize. I remember seeing your chat message on Friday or Thursday last week, and it scrolled off, and I never responded to it. I'm sorry. That worked nicely, actually. I still have the setup. I did deprovision the server that I used for it, but I still have the source code. And maybe it's worth looking into that. I faintly remember there being problems, but I think it was another of these things where 20 additional minutes after the stream, things went nicely. So, yeah, why not go right into that? So let's see, if I go out here, and that would probably be in monospace. No? It's not in here. Where did I put that? I keep changing my keyboard layout, so I also keep confusing myself where things are. But I think I found a layout that I really like, and that is easy to memorize for myself. It's just the muscle memory that needs to be retrained. So let's see, come on, and then another asterisk. Huh, okay. So let me take a look at my GitLab. I wonder why I deleted that. Yeah, I still have it on GitLab, so let me clone that. So how did things end up looking? This is a basic Rails application that I tried to deploy, and in config we have the deploy.yaml, and here I was able to deploy. Wait a second. Beans. I think I deleted what I add in the end, because that IP address and that username is definitely not right. How can that be though? I'm trying to remember how I built that. I needed the Docker registry of this repository, and maybe that's why the code in here isn't up to date. But not to worry, I'm pretty sure I can recover that from my stream VM. I think I used my stream VM, and that's why I didn't have it on disk here on my workstation. Yes, that's the reason. So let me quickly spin up my stream VM again, because the terminal that you can see at the moment is my workstation terminal. And then we'll make sure that we have everything conserved in or preserved in the GitLab repository as well. So there we go. And terminal. Which one do we have? Let's use the best term. And in here we have command test, and here are a few things that are not yet pushed to the repository. Okay, so let's take a look at how things look here. Let's go into config, deploy.yaml. So here we are. I used my GitLab image that back then was still in the optative namespace, Kamal test, and the image name was also Kamal test. The first Kamal test is the repository, and in this repository I have an image registry courtesy of GitLab, and the image itself is also named Kamal test. I was deploying to one of my home lab instances using registry.gitlab.com with a username that I generated from that repository and a Kamal registry password that is stored separately. I also imported the Rails master key as a secret because that needed to be available as well. And everything else is tutorial content that I didn't even need. And then I had to change the production environment. And that is because... What did I change in here? I think there was about the asset pipeline or something. Let's... I should have opened Tmux. So let's go out here. Let's open Tmux in here too, so I can open files and look at the shell. So here we have that, the deploy.yaml. I had issues with Kamal also trying to build an ARM image, and that's why I changed the settings and added the multi-arch false setting for Kamal. And I had to disable the SSL because I didn't have any SSL certificate for that test website, and so I had to change my production configuration to not force SSL, and that's it. So with that configuration, let's go back to the deploy.yaml. With that simple configuration, I was able to actually build the Docker image, and then Kamal logged in via SSH and deployed that, and I was able to actually see the website. So this all worked nicely, and so I'll pursue that further by adding these accessory services as well. I'll need a setup that has both a database and a Redis instance if I want to deploy our hosting dashboard using Kamal, and so we'll have a follow-up on that shortly. Hey Thindel, how you doing? Good afternoon to you too. Welcome to the stack, folks. So, now let's go ahead and push this so it's actually preserved. Yes, we did actually change our name here. It's all part of the rebranding. Speaking of rebranding, by the way, my courses now have their new domain too. You can find them on learn.monospacementor.com. So that's that. Guess we can actually log out here. Will I stay on my demo VM? No, I won't, because I need virtualization, and I don't think I have set up nested virtualization here on my KVM setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down this VM. Okay, so we can close this local instance here as well. And actually just switch to my cookbooks session that I've already opened. let me move my VM window off. I can close that once it's done. That screen back on. Oh, Exegete, you already have Ubuntu running. That's brilliant. What resolution are you running your Mac Pro on? So, I just noticed that I made a slight change to my scene here. I reintroduced the chat, and I was missing having chat on screen. But to resize that a little. That's this one. Let's say that's about 750, huh? A bit less. Let's make it 700. That's nice. Okay, so 1080p should be something that it can serve easily. So, not sure if you're going to game on it anyway. It definitely can display a nice GNOME desktop at 1080p. Okay, now, cookbooks. What I've done so far is build an additional feature in the Prometheus X cookbook that provides me with a basic setup of the Blackbox exporter, which is a Prometheus component that can monitor services. You basically tell it which service to probe, and it'll do that, and it has support for different services. For the most common services you need to monitor, I guess. That's HTTP, SSH, and ICMP, aka ping. Oh, Thindle, so sorry to read that. What did you do? How did you break your headphones? Oh, okay. Yeah. These things happen eventually. It's wear and tear. So, Exegete, how much RAM do you have in that Mac Pro? Is it already kitted out as a home lab server with space for a few VMs and stuff? Oh, it's not about flexing RAM. It's just about having enough space to actually run a few services on that machine. Oh, that's decent. That's decent. That's more than I have currently on my home lab server. Mine only has it came with 32 gigabytes. I will expand it to a 128 though. And that's what that gauge in the lower right corner is for. Just a slight and subtle hint. Okay, Yeah, I was about to tell you how to deal with the how I'm going to deal with these cookbooks. So the Blackbox exporter basically gets set up by the Prometheus X cookbook, and I'm already in the Prometheus_Freistyle cookbook directory because that's the, say, our own individual custom configuration that will build or does already build on the Prometheus X cookbook. The Prometheus X cookbook is more of a generic cookbook that I'm actually planning to open source. I only have to create the automation for that. So if I push changes to the cookbook in our private repository so that this cookbook gets exported and published on GitHub automatically. I don't want to do that manually. And this automation is all that stands in the way of me publishing this Prometheus X cookbook to the public. The Prometheus Freistyle cookbook is very specific to our hosting platform, and that so it doesn't make sense to publish that as well. Let's switch to that cookbook. So here we are. And let's start with actually creating a branch to make the changes that I'm going to make. That's always the first thing. The second thing, actually, because the first thing I need to do is create an issue in our GitLab repository for that, so I get an issue number. So let me see. Actually, I also need our GitLab epics. Doing that off screen. Let's see. Issue board.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched scenes glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time.
So that's task 881. It's a subtask, and that number will also name our branch. Bethesda wrote, I'm getting ready to buy my next compute node. I think need to research a couple more things. Pretty confident I'm going to pull the trigger on a framework mainboard. That's a great decision, I think. You can do so many things with these. And it's basically, especially if you don't buy one of the cutting edge ones, it's definitely helping to get stuff off. Well, it's still bought new, I guess. It's not actually reused, but I like the actual reusability of all these framework components and products. Exegete wrote 12 core, 3.5 gigahertz, 64 gigs, but only 256 gigabyte SSD. That's actually pretty decent. That's pretty similar to my HomeLab server, actually. And more than enough to run a few things in-house. And Thindle also built their own workstation. Nice. Four times 60, yeah, 4 times 16, that makes sense, especially if you want to use all the memory lanes that modern processors actually have. I'm also going to buy 4 32 DIMM pieces. And a 5900X, nice. Yeah, that's how you do it. The only thing possible. I mean, you basically didn't have any choice, did you? No, you say just a HPE microserver. I mean, my home lab server is a Dell Infinity workstation from 2018, I think, and it's great for the job. Okay, so I'm still in 880 Blackbox Prometheus X, and I have no idea why. No, I'm not. That's just not updated. So let's, just to be sure, let's do another pull here. We are up to date. Okay, -B, and that's 881, right? 881. Blackbox, Prometheus, and even type my own company name. $120 gigs for video encoding? Does that speed up things if you use more memory? I wouldn't have thought that memory is... Yeah, of course, if each thread... Yeah, okay, I can see what you mean. Each thread needs its own piece of memory, and that can add up if you have 32 of them. But still, I mean, if you basically filled, just for ease of calculation, 128 gigabytes with 32 threads. That means each thread used 4 gigabytes of RAM. That's still pretty much. Okay, I really have a hard time focusing today. Not sure why. Maybe it's because I'm not wearing headphones and the situation is confusing me. It's a bit unfamiliar to hear stuff out of my speakers, but yeah, I didn't see why I would have to put on my headphones today. Oh yeah, okay. It wasn't just video encoding; it was actually rendering and compositing, yeah. That makes sense. That reminds me, I still have to re-render my video, what's it called? The video stinger for my YouTube videos with Monospace Mentor instead of Obsitive. So that'll require a little bit of CPU as well. I'm doing that in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so that is that. I guess I'll go ahead and bump the minor version of that cookbook. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. I bumped the minor version because it's going to be a feature upgrade. Hopefully nothing breaking, so it's not require a major upgrade, but the minor version needs to be bumped. And I'll need the new version of the Prometheus X cookbook. So let's see. The Prometheus X cookbook is now at version 090. So that's the dependency we need to enforce here. And then we should be able to add the Blackbox exporter recipe to our run list, which is already the case. No, I'm really wrong. Directory, need to be careful which file I'm opening here. So there's just the Prometheus recipe. Interesting. Ah, okay, yeah, so we are actually distinguishing between Prometheus server and the clients. So I wonder if I'm going to rename these test suites, because yeah, I guess it makes sense. This cookbook doesn't deal with the different components we have from Prometheus separately. It's more of distinguishing roles. So I guess it does make sense to call this test suite here client, and this test suite up here server. And the client test suite won't be touched in this context, because everything we are doing is going to happen on the server, and that means I need to take a look at the Prometheus recipe here. This might actually also be renamed to a server. Would make more sense, but that would be a breaking change, because we already use this recipe name in our infrastructure and reference the Prometheus recipe here by name. So that would require a major version bump and a breaking change and all kinds of red tape. So I'm not going to do that, even though it would be nicer from a readability standpoint. So let me see, what are we doing here? We call the Prometheus recipe from Prometheus X. We use the Alert Manager recipe from Prometheus X, and I guess here we'll simply add the Blackbox exporter recipe as well. In the end, it sets up a proxy for all these services. We won't have to expand that because the Blackbox exporter is going to run on localhost only. So Prometheus will be able to talk to it, but it won't be exposed to the internet. So we don't need a proxy in front of it as well. And not even us admins are going to talk to the Blackbox exporter from the outside. So that makes things pretty easy. XG asked, any suggestions for a VNC server package? I would use Tiger VNC. That seems to be a well-established and well-matured VNC solution. I would also consider doing something with RDP, because RDP is more efficient in terms of transferring screen contents. Where did they discuss that? I think they discussed it on 2.5 Admins, the podcast 2.5 Admins recently, where they talked about remote access solutions, and so that refreshed my memory that VNC, just like X11, I think, actually transfers whole screens and doesn't really take advantage of compression and things like that. And that's the case with newer protocols like SPICE and Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, which is commonly used in the Windows world. They actually use codecs to encode video, and they also only transfer what's called the damage regions, which means only those regions of the screen that actually have changed. So if you, for example, pull a window into the foreground, then only that part that has now reappeared will get sent across the line, and everything else stays the same and doesn't require any bandwidth. That's why VNC isn't as great for remote access as SPICE or RDP. But since you are working locally, I guess it doesn't matter too much. If you had to access, do your remote access over the internet, it would probably make more of a difference. Yeah, I think hearing my own voice unmuffled by headphones is actually something that is throwing me off a little bit. I'm so used to wearing headphones and only slightly hearing my own voice. Oh, okay, I stand corrected. At least there are a few more modern VNC implementations. Okay. That's good. That's good to know. Thank you. Now, let me spin up that test suite, actually. To see what happens, because it might actually be that the basic Blackbox exporter setup is already usable. However, it won't enable any probes, and so I'll have to do that. But that'll just require a change in the Blackbox exporter's configuration file, and that should do the trick. I think the remote desktop that Apple uses is actually RDP. No, it's VNC actually. Yeah, it's based on VNC, and so it might actually have these modern extensions. Okay, so we have the server test suite for both Ubuntu versions, and I'm going to run the Ubuntu 20 version for now. So let's see. Copy that and do a TKC. To spin up the VM, deploy everything according to the Prometheus recipe, which now includes pulling in the Blackbox exporter functionality, and that should give us a Prometheus server that has Prometheus, Alert Manager, and Blackbox exporter running. And then we can simply log into the VM and take a look at how things actually look like. And I guess I'm going to split my screen for that, if I can find the right keys. The VM is already up, even though it only gets is getting deployed at the moment, but I can already use it to log in. I'm pretty sure there's no Blackbox exporter running yet, so we'll have to wait for the deployment on the left side to finish. Balthazar writes, I'd really encourage using No Machine, though that team seems to have a much better handle on modern Linux screen audio forwarding magic. Yeah, Wayland is actually a challenge in that as well. And I'm not even sure if Tiger VNC does support Wayland. I have never tried running it on Wayland. I don't have experience of myself. And I actually, I'll be honest, No Machine doesn't ring a bell either. So let's take a look at that. No Machine, free remote desktop for everybody. Connect to any computer remotely at the speed of light. Thanks to our NX technology, No Machine is the fastest and highest quality remote desktop you've ever tried. Reach your computer on the other side of the world in just a few clicks. Okay. Well, the marketing collateral is definitely nice. No Machine lets you access all your files, display all your videos, play all your audio, print and edit your documents, and move them around. So it's more of a VDI solution, actually. Well, not quite, but if you have a VM where you can run your operating system on and put No Machine on that, sounds pretty much like the Dream Team. So, how's that in terms of licensing and pricing? Free for everybody to use. And then there's remote access for the enterprise. Okay. Oh, that's the enterprise products that costs. If you want a terminal server and stuff like that. Okay. So. And it works over SSH, but that applies to VNC as well. Okay. So. Let's see. Is there a flat pack of No Machine? Of the No Machine client, at least. No app found. That is sad. Let's see. No Machine for Linux. There are packages for download, at least. I'm going to try that with my Homelab server as well, because that might actually be a nice alternative to Spice, which Proxmox usually uses. But he's only about 90% to my satisfaction. There are a few nags. Okay. You know what? I'll write that down in my stream ideas. Set up No Machine on Stream VM. Let's start with the Stream VM because, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. Do I have a demo VM? Regardless. Set up No Machine. So, where are we? Provisioning has finished, and if I do the same check now, there is now a Blackbox exporter running. it actually has an external URL. So we'll have to make sure that doesn't happen, because apparently by default it picks the localhost name. But the listen address is pinned to localhost, so yeah, so that's fine. So if I actually talk to that machine, if I do a curl http server dash ubuntu dash 2004 2004.vagrant.com:9115, that doesn't work because that address seems to be only connected to the network interface. If I talk to localhost though, doesn't work either. Well, that is strange. So I don't suppose it works. Wait. 127.0.0. Oh, come on. I can't use my keyboard. What's even happening? Huh. How does it work with the IP address and not with the localhost name? That's very strange. Okay. I guess just for clarity's sake, we should actually change the external URL to localhost 2. So where does that happen? Does this happen in the attributes? Yes, it does. That's the node exporter, alert manager. So let's open up a new section for Prometheus Blackbox exporter. Thank you, Copilot. Where we override Prometheus Blackbox exporter web, not the web listen address, but what was it called? The web external URL. And we'll make that HTTP localhost 9115. Yes. So if I save that and switch to here again and rerun the converge, oh, did I type localhost? Oh, okay. So it's either a Spanish Freudian slip or just a mistype. I'm not going to explore which one. Yeah, thanks for that. I was already doubting this doesn't work. Okay. The only thing is, if I go into Etsy Prometheus and take a look at the Blackbox exporter YAML, that's really, really short and empty. And so I have to actually change a few things. And these curly braces are strange. What's even going on there? Well, I think we are using a YAML generator to write this file, so it's not even my own fault. Apparently this is valid YAML, I guess. Yeah, Blackbox exporter does start up, so... All right. We are already almost there. Let's see. In my test setup for Prometheus X... Nope. As I said, for Prometheus X, kitchen YAML, we had a basic Blackbox setup here. Here, these are the node attributes, the hash that I'll have to copy. We'll use the we'll define the ICMP prober, and we'll also define the HTTP prober and the SSH prober. So let's copy that. And I'm actually not going to put that into the test setup. That actually needs to go into the production setup. So we'll set it as a node attribute here. And that's Blackbox exporter config, right? Let's go. Yeah. So config needs to have modules ping prober. What's even going on? So override. This X. Again, it's not going to be the listen address, but config. And are we going to include modules in here? That's actually a good idea, because now, is this an array? Did Copilot get that right? No, it's a hash. There's the ping with the ICMP prober, and that's going to be a hash. So let's go back. Oh dear. Talking and typing while trying to remember my new keyboard layout is really a challenge. Modules, and here we'll have the ping module. Where we need prober ICMP, yes. And then I guess we can close this already. I just have to invent that correctly. Like this. And that'll give us a ping module both in production and in testing. Let's see if that actually works. So in case if you're wondering why I did change my keyboard layout, that it'll throw me off that much. So I'm actually on my Corn keyboard at the moment. Let's see, where's my desk cam? Oh, I must have bumped against my camera here. So I'm on my Korn keyboard, and I'm going, and I actually switched off home row mods. Before I had modifiers on the keys where I'm resting my fingers, which is ASDF and JKL and the single quote. And that was convenient, but it required a lot of proper timing, because the time that you hold a key to distinguish, did he press F or did he mean shift, really requires proper timing and quite precise timing. And yeah, my timing is off and all over the place. And so I had a lot of mistypes where I got letters where I wanted to have modifiers. Instead of Shift I got FI, and had to then delete 2 letters and retype everything. So that was no fun, and I decided to get rid of home row mods. And in the process of moving modifiers to my thumb keys and removing layer keys for that, actually, I also reworked my layers and put some symbols and the numbers to different places. Before I had a numpad block on the left side, a 3x3 block for the numbers. Now I have the numbers on the top row all across the 2 halves and things like that. So this really needs a lot of retraining, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. I already see when I'm typing that I'm actually faster and need less corrections than before. So give me 2 more weeks or so, and I'll be decently proficient with my keyboard again. So, where are we? Provisioning did finish. So if I do another cat Blackbox exporter, we get modules ping with the ICMP prober, and I should be able to actually execute that. Curl HTTP localhost 9115 probe. Wait. And then I think it's module. I've also moved the equal sign to. It's going to be exciting to find it. Module ping, and then we'll need an ampersand, which is on the 7 again, but not on the actual 7, but on the same key as the 7. And the target is going to be. I guess we need an IP address here, 127.0.0.1, and since everything, since there's an ampersand in there, okay. We need to. Oh, I could use Control-A. Yep, that worked. As you can see, probe success 1 here. Took only fractions of a second to get that round trip with ICMP. This ping did only take a few microseconds, actually. All right. So Blackbox exporter does work. It does configure the ICMP module or probe, and now we'll have to find out how to do SSH. So let's look that up. Prometheus Blackbox SSH. So what do we have here? We have the HTTP probe, the TCP probe, I do remember there being an SSH probe too. And I don't think that was just using the TCP probe with port 22. Because I think it even parsed the SSH banner that appears when you connect. Range. We'll also have to set up this configuration here, but that's the scrape configuration in Prometheus itself. Let's take a look at the example configuration here. Found the plus key. HTTP with proxy, HTTP, a lot of stuff, TLS, here, SMTP, okay, so I guess what I saw was the TCP probe after all, and just as they do with the SMTP start TLS, they can actually check query responses and stuff like that. Here's the IRC banner. That's the TCP probe. And it'll send a few IRC messages and expect something back. Nice. So did they include an SSH query example? No, not really. Okay. But then again, we can actually do the HTTP to XX example, I guess. Can't be too specific here, so these fail if body matches. That doesn't really apply to my use case. I guess for the redirects does make sense, and even the host header here needs to be either left off or replaced with proper data from Prometheus. Then down here something that we'll need to change, preferred IP protocol fallback. No, that's fine. I guess we can simply do this. So let me copy that. Here. What am I even doing? I guess we'll leave this header section off completely for the time being. Almost done. Oh, give me a second. Alright, that was my daughter's teacher asking if my daughter was allowed to walk home from where they are, which is just around the corner from our house. But they needed to have permission, so she doesn't actually have to return to school and then walk back from school to home, which she is allowed to. So yeah, sometimes things are really more complicated than they need to be. Now, I completely botched that. And that can actually be a JSON true, or no, that's Ruby. That can actually be a Ruby true too. And we'll just have to close that curly brace. And then another curly brace. And I'm pretty sure Robocop wants me to add a comma at all these places. So now we should get another probe called HTTP_2XX, which does a HTTP probe with a timer of 5 seconds. These monitoring checks shouldn't really take too long, so if the website actually takes longer than 5 seconds to respond, especially if we call a specific health check URL that doesn't do capricious things, so, it should be able to answer within 5 seconds, and if it does not, then something is seriously not in order. So we'll keep things as they are here. And I'll actually go ahead and deploy this configuration change. So something else that I think keeps throwing off with my keyboard is that I have actually moved functions but left them on the original place as well. So there are now, for a few functions that, such as backspace, there are now two things. I can press one key, or I can press another key with a layer key, and both will send backspace. And I think this paralysis of choice also doesn't really help. So let's see, let's take a look at the YAML. That seems to be valid YAML, and looks like it is supposed to look. Alright, does the ping check still work? Yes, I get probe success 1. I have no idea how the HTTP probe needs to look like. So it's the HTTP2XX module, that's for sure. Wait, can I actually simply keep that target? I mean, it's kind of a URL, isn't it? It says probe success 1. Let's take a look at all these metrics we have. uncompressed body length is 612, so that's actually... Wait, how does localhost even respond to Perl? What's running on localhost here? Oh, it's the Nginx proxy and its default page. Huh. That should actually not be running. Interesting. I guess we didn't notice that because we don't have any web services running on our dedicated Prometheus machines. And yeah, I don't really mind our Prometheus machines responding on port 80, but it's not really what we want either. So I guess I'll take a look at that because what am I doing? I think we must have done something different with the node exporter proxy, because that node exporter does run on machines where we have actual web servers on. So would Nginx simply set up its port 80 on these machines, it would definitely get into trouble. Let me see. Do we do something differently for these machines? For the node exporter... Oh wait, the Prometheus X cookbook doesn't do anything with the proxy, it simply sets up Prometheus. That's the Prometheus Freestyle cookbook, where we actually set up Nginx, and we do set up this node exporter proxy. We do not disable the default website. That's something that probably should happen in our node. In our node attributes. Here we should set something that disables the Nginx cookbook's default website or web page. Let's find out what that is. There must be a specific node attribute. That allows me to disable the default website. Actually, why not put that on screen here? Let's see. Oh dear. Did they turn that into a resource only book? I guess I should take a look at or do I just disable the default? Right. I guess that should always be the case. Oh, I think I know what happens. The Nginx package actually installs that default page. And if we don't disable that in our own infrastructure code, then it will linger around and actually respond on port 80. That's probably what happened here. Let me see. Oh, that's only Prometheus. Interesting. And it still answers on port 80. There's no default website here. We pull in everything in confd and then sites enabled. In sites enabled, however, there's only our Prometheus proxy. And just to be sure, that one, oof, there is a port 80. Oh, is there a port 80? Oh yes, of course. Because we don't set up proxies for each of the services separately, but actually we use port 80 to, and even port 443 if SSL is enabled, to access Prometheus under /Prometheus and Alert Manager under /Alert Manager. So yeah, it actually makes sense to have port 80 open here. It's just that for the /URL path, we are actually serving the default page. We could block that and simply return a 403 or something like that, or a 404 even. Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's a side topic, I think. We'll keep it as it is at the moment. But that means the HTTP probe does actually work. And now we'll have to find a nice way to configure the SSH probe as well. So I'll recycle this tab. Prometheus Blackbox SSH. Must be some example configuration for SSH, right? Monitoring HTTPS endpoints. Nope, no SSH. Maybe I should enforce SSH here. Let's see, that's the Prometheus configuration. Let me take a look at how this looks like just to acquaint myself with it. So we have a job name Blackbox where we will access its /probe metrics. Okay, parameters in our request will be the module where we test SSH banner. So there needs to be a configuration that defines what SSH_banner means. And then we have static configurations where we simply list our targets. In this case, we are targeting we're targeting localhost. We can do that in our test suite too. And then we have to relabel configurations. So let's see, source labels, we'll use address, where we do a regex that basically captures the IP address, I guess. That's... Nope. That's actually something and then a colon and something, so a port. And then we'll replace that with the host name in front of the colon and force 22. Interesting. Don't know why that would be necessary, but yeah. Then we have the target label parent target. That's in target. and goes into the target parameter. And then we'll use that exact instance parameter, this exact target parameter, and put that into the instance label. And then instead of talking to the address that is here listed in the static configurations, we'll talk to the Blackbox exporter, and we have already moved the address information to the param target, so that works. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Prometheus, what this does is I have this Prometheus scrape configuration. That means Prometheus is going to send HTTP requests to some kind of an exporter, and then it'll expect metrics to come back. And I have defined target addresses here, which is an array, a single element array in this case, just with the localhost address. And normally Prometheus would then send its request to this target address. But we'll have to go through the Blackbox exporter to get our SSH test through. Prometheus can't get that directly from localhost in that instance or any other host that we want to monitor. So we'll have to take the raw address that is configured up here. We'll have to parse that and have to basically make sure it uses port 22. And then we'll write that into the label called __param target, which is going to be a part of our request parameters later. That's basically predefined or hardwired. All these param labels go into the request parameters. So there will be a target parameter that contains our address, which is going to be this localhost address with port 22 appended. And then we'll take this param target label that we just built and write that also into the instance label, because that is the key under which Prometheus will store its metrics. And at this point in time, Prometheus would still want to talk to 127.110, and we'll have to prevent that, and so we'll have to overwrite address with the address of the Blackbox exporter, which will then force Prometheus to talk to this URL and port, which is the Blackbox exporter, to which it will then pass target as a parameter, because that's what we've defined. And it'll also use the hardwired parameter up here, which is module SSH banner. And with these two informations, the Blackbox exporter then hopefully knows what to do. So it will tell him, use your SSH banner module, which we'll have to configure, and then apply that module to the target 127.001:22, and that will then do an SSH check. Okay, we'll need that later, but it was just important for me to go through this and make sure that I still understand how this works. What I wonder is, where did they configure the Blackbox exporter actually? Because SSH banner doesn't seem to be a default configuration. Is it? Apparently that should actually already work. Pretty sure it doesn't. Definitely won't work in our case. Can't. Simply can't work. But let's see. Curl localhost 911 probe. Target is localhost 22. Let's again put this URL into single quotes just to be sure. Yeah, we have an ampersand in there anyway, so we have to do that. And now it tells us unknown module SSH banner, because that's simply not defined. And I would be curious why that's not mentioned here, because it doesn't seem to be part of the default configuration. Let's see, config. That's not what I'm looking for. There's no SSH in that configuration explanation. Right. Example configuration. Doesn't have SSH either. Wait, that's strange. How does this work? There's a black box YAML. Nope, there's no... Yes, there is. Just skipped it. Here's the SSH banner. Okay. Let's copy this. So we expect SSH-2.0- as a response to our TCP probe on port 22. Brilliant. Let's go and integrate that into our configuration down here. So that. No, not. I don't want to replace it. Just put. That's alright. Can't be. My muscle memory is so strong. I keep trying to replace things instead of simply wrap them in quotes. This needs to be Prometheus. And that's actually an array. Which is here. So I guess it's an array of hashes, so I need to build it like this, right? like this. Nope. Something wrong. I've swapped these two paints. I don't even know how. But it doesn't matter. Wait, we have this hash. Yep, there's a colon that doesn't belong there. It's still broken. Okay. That's a hash. Query response is an array in which I send. And it tries to call a method send here instead of having a string. If I do the same call now, it works. Prop success 1, so SSH did actually get the response it expected. And that's pretty much the black box exporter side of things done. And now we have to access that from Prometheus. But let's commit everything first. And that's basically a feature for the Prometheus setup SSH check in box exporter. Let's push that too, so I can resume work on a laptop if I want to. Okay, I'll have to take a short break, and I'll do an ad break during that break as well, so people don't get pre-roll ads, and I'll see you in a minute or two. I'm back. Hello, hello, hello. So, now there is a question that I need to ask myself. And that is, how do we actually tell Prometheus which machines need to be monitored using the SSH probe? And I actually don't remember how we do that. Apparently, the Prometheus recipe only calls the basic recipes from the Prometheus X cookbook, and then we set up a proxy to secure everything. And that's all that happens, which is pretty nice. This separation of concerns is neat. I actually didn't expect it to be that clear-cut. So let's go back to the Prometheus X cookbook. And take a look at the scrape configs. The scrape configs are actually stored in this node attribute, Prometheus X, Prometheus scrape configs, and that's a hash with all the job configurations. And then we have the have built a, I think that's something that I built in the past, and this is one of the clever things that require rereading and re-understanding. If I have set a key target discovery that's either set to static list, then we'll simply take the targets that are stored under this key, and if it's set to static search, we take the targets that are then defined under the configuration target list, and if you have target search, then we get the targets from the target query. Oof. Okay. So. That's something that will differ. That will be different between the test system and our production environment, or the test suite and the production environment. I need to set up a scrape config where the job name gets taken from the hash. Okay. And for the Blackbox exporter, let's go back. To the example configuration here. We need a job Blackbox. Actually, we'll call that SSH. Yes, and there will be another. We might have different jobs that all use the Blackbox exporter, but the job name needs to be more specific than in this in this example. Okay, so let's go back to our test configuration here. So there is already alert manager set up in place, but there is no Prometheus. configuration. Wait. How do I switch between files again? Control. Oh, that's a 7. Oh, like, yeah, okay. Here we go. Prometheus scrape configs. And now we need SSH. And under SSH, which is the job, we'll set a key target discovery to static list underscore target discovery to static list. Underscore target discovery. To static list. And then I think we'll have a target list array. Oh, that's going to be 127 0 0 1. Oh, it's underscore target list. So yeah, that makes sense. It's consistent. And everything else needs to be the proper Prometheus setup from the example. Oh yes, I did already underscore that, underscore target list. Okay. So the rest of this configuration is then metrics path slash probe, metrics path slash probe, params is module SSH banner. It's just module. The static configs targets get defined automatically. I leave the relabel configuration off for the time being, and that's it. Let's see what this minimal configuration looks like when I get Chef to configure that. So in this case, let's still let's go back to Prometheus. The Blackbox exporter config shouldn't have changed. There's still the HTTP check and the SSH banner check, but our Prometheus YAML has to have changed because let's see what's in there. We have scrape configs, the job name SSH, metrics path is probe, params did get rendered wrong. And we have the static configs, those got rendered correctly. And then we have the Prometheus job and the node exporter job. And the alert manager configuration. So my Blackbox exporter configuration is not correct. And we have to find out why. I think it's because this needs to be string. What is the default string delimiter for YAML? Is it a single quote or a double quote? Which one is the better choice for me? This still breaks in terms of params. It tries to get a mash in there. This might be a bug in my logic. But yeah. These sub hashes don't get converted into standard Ruby hashes, and that's why when I turn them into YAML they end up this strangely. We have params, modules, SSH banner, but with additional stuff, and there's another module now, also both modules and module. Is also strange. So the old mistyped modules is still in there. Okay. So that's a matter of how. When I'm doing a 2H, oh, that's only global. I think I have to do a bug fix in here. I can't just go through the node attribute scrape configs. Each pair applies to this because it has hashy behaviors. Hey Balthasar, welcome back. No worries. No worries. Happy that you're back. But if you keep working with this data directly, we'll get more than we bargained for. Works nicely. I just found a bug in my configuration logic. And the bug is basically that I'm treating node attributes, which is a huge hash, but it's not a pure Ruby hash. It's something more specific, a type that's introduced by Chef itself. And I'm treating that as a simple Ruby hash, which works because they built in all the standard hash behaviors. But when I then take data out of this hash that isn't one, then I get these additional things that I don't want in there. So I just wanted to have params, params, modules, SSH banner, and instead I get all this type stuff with chef node in immutable mesh and these internal variables and stuff. So that's broken. I think what I need to do is, instead of iterating directly on this node attribute that has all this additional data in itself that I don't need, I'll turn that into a Ruby hash, similar like I did up here, where I simply called 2h to get a standard Ruby hash without all the additional stuff. So I need to basically turn that into a hash first, and then I can apply each pair on that hash. And that should then get me what I need. I wonder why this didn't happen before. Apparently. Maybe that's because we only had the node exporter stuff in there, and that didn't require any additional data. But this time... Wait, this time... where do I want... Here. This time we have... where is the Prometheus configuration? Up here. This time we not only have... oh, give me a second. I'm in the wrong cookbook. That's why I'm getting confused. This time we have the automatic stuff with these underscores, target discovery and target list. That gets replaced by the cookbook logic, and we have additional data, metrics path and these params. And that metrics path is just a key value pair that gets transferred correctly. But this nested hash here, params with the key module and an array value, that gets broken. That is visible when we take a look at the configuration here. Metrics path with /probe, that got taken without any problems because it's a top level key value pair, but params then is a nested hash, or in this case it's a nested chef node immutable mesh, and that introduces these dirt effects, and so we need to take care of that. But unfortunately that will require me to release a bug fix of the other cookbook again. So I'll have to file another issue for that Prometheus X cookbook, fix the data conversion bug here, and then I can then use that fixed dependency cookbook to actually get Blackbox working. And that should pretty much then get us there, because I can actually use /probe, and then I have params modules SSH banner, and the actual target configuration works nicely here. Targets is 127001. So that should then work nicely. Let me take another look at our existing configuration, because I really wonder how this didn't turn up with our existing node exporter configuration. I'll have to take a look at our production data, which I'll do off screen here. That's here. I wonder where exactly. It might be hidden in our environments, actually. Nice. So let's take a look at environment production. Prometheus X. We have an alert manager configuration. Huh, and that's it? I'm very surprised. Wait a second, I think I'm missing a piece. And that's these group rules, where we get the additional Prometheus rules. But these are alert rules. Wait, these are alert rules. Right? So what I'm missing here is how does our Prometheus actually know which node exporters to scrape? That's how. Here we overwrite scrape configs, node exporter. And yeah, okay, now I can see. Yeah, the existing scrape configs didn't have nested hashes in them. There's just the scrape interval, the matrix path, and then these pseudo parameters, target discovery static list, which means take this list in target list and apply it or write it to the configuration file. And then here we have the node exporter configuration, which is also on only key value pairs, no nested hashes in there. And finally there's the target query where we say, okay, simply include every node that has the same chef environment as the Prometheus server itself. So that's why we didn't run into this bug before, because we didn't have any nested attributes in here. And now that I'm introducing one in the form of params module SSH banner, now I'm running into this bug. And okay, that explains it. That's definitely reassuring. There's nothing Heisen buggy or so in place here, or in play here. Yeah, that's something that I'll be able to deal with. But I think I'll call it for now. I feel a little bit tired, and since I have to break my flow anyway to switch to the other cookbook again and fix the bug in there, so I can then resume my work on this one, I'll wrap it up early here and take care of things behind the scenes. I might actually deploy the bug fix today or tomorrow, and then pick things up on Thursday on my second live stream this week at 2 p.m. Irish and UK time, and I'll pick and go on from there then. I think that does make sense. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. All right. So let me remind you that there is going to be a Monospace Mentor hangout tonight on our Discord server. So let me get you the URL. Discord. You go to monospacementor.com/Discord, and you are invited and always welcome there tonight at 8 p.m. Irish time, UK time. We are going to have another hangout where we simply go into a voice channel and shoot the shit about everything that we'd like to talk about. I guess I need to get myself a little bit of wine for tonight, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'll take a short stroll, and on the way home I'll grab a bottle of wine. And so I hope to see you tonight, and as mentioned, there's going to be another live coding stream on Thursday where I probably will pick up where I left off today, hopefully with a fixed dependency. And on Friday at 2 p.m. Irish time, there's going to be the Monospace office hour where I answer your questions if you have any. You can post your questions to Discord and I pick them up there, or you can of course join me on the Friday stream and ask live on chat. I hope this was fun for you. It was a bit of work that I need to do, nothing spectacular, but only daily DevOps work, and I'm happy that I made a little bit of progress. I see things coming together, which is always nice, and being able to talk to you folks during my work is always fun as well. So thanks for chatting, thanks for lurking, thanks for simply stopping by, and I hope to see you soon, maybe tonight on the Monospace Hangout. Until then, take care.